So, the price of Bitcoin just halved. What does that mean? When did it happen? And what should you and I do about that? Before we get into all of that, I apologize for my hair. It looks like I haven't been to a barber in months. Yes, because that's exactly what happened. I haven't been to a barber in months because I think the last haircut I got was like 2 weeks before I went to New Zealand, which is like 2 months ago already. No, wait, it's almost 3 months ago. So it's crazy. So yeah, I know I look like a total barbarian, but it's lockdown, it's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about that. But let's shut up about that now and get straight into, can you and I profit from what just happened to Bitcoin? Let's go check it out. So when did this halving happen? This halving happened yesterday, early afternoon or late evening, depending on where in the world you live. But the exact date and time in South Africa was the 11th of May at 9 o'clock. I think it was 9 o'clock, don't quote me on that, but as far as I know, it was 9 o'clock. But what does this halving mean? So let me quickly get into the history of Bitcoin and just what exactly Bitcoin is. Now, yes, I know most of you watching this video has probably already heard what Bitcoin is. A lot of you probably already know what it is. And there are even some of you which understand it better than I do. Like, I'm not at all a Bitcoin enthusiast or anything. I just kind of understand the basics of what Bitcoin is supposed to do and what this halving can mean. So what is Bitcoin? When was it created? Bitcoin was created by a person or group. Which one of those it is, we aren't sure, known as Satoshi Nakamoto. They released Bitcoin in 2009, along with a white paper that they wrote to explain to us what Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is supposed to work as a normal currency is supposed to, which our currency today doesn't work like that. I'm obviously not going to run through the whole white paper because that would be ridiculously long, and to be honest, I haven't even read through the whole white paper. I've only managed to grasp bits and pieces of it, which is relevant to this video. So our currency today is known as fiat currency, which fiat currency is a more modern type of currency, which in 1971, up until that point, currency used to be backed by gold. So every time we would print currency, the gold of the country became less. Today, because of certain regulations and signed upon agreements, the currency of today isn't gold backed anymore. So that is known as fiat currency. And this type of currency is inflationary currency, which means every year, because there is more and more of that currency and there isn't actually a finite amount of it, it loses value every single year. No matter which currency it is, no matter from which country, every single currency loses value each year due to inflation, which means it's inflationary. Bitcoin is a deflationary currency, which that is what really the principles of economics are and how currency is supposed to work. There's supposed to be a finite amount of resources, because how did currency start in the very beginning? It started as trading this pen for this keyring. Not that there were keyrings in those days, I'm not sure, but trading this for that. Now the problem is, what happened if you needed something like meat and you were a barter or something which makes butter? So you went to the butcher and you said, here, take my butter for a certain portion of meat. But then the butcher would tell you, I already have butter, I don't need it. So now this barter is stuck with a problem. He's got too much butter, he's trying to trade it, but the people around him already have too much butter and he can't eat because of that. So that's why they introduced commodities as a type of currency to be able to trade with. So they valued the commodity based on weight, and that is how they would trade. So if I came to you with, let's say this was a silver piece, actually it's, perfect, a coin. So they came with a coin, bought a piece of meat, weighed it, and based on that, that was how much meat you got. Later on, society decided to stamp the actual coins and mint pieces so that there couldn't be any fraud on what the exact weight of that commodity is. So that's basically an introduction to how currency started. Now, as I said, in 1971, currency stopped being backed by gold, which made it inflationary instead of deflationary, which means every year it rises in value instead of loses in value. So that is the difference between normal currency and Bitcoin, and that is what Bitcoin is. Okay, so now that we know what Bitcoin is, at least basically what Bitcoin is, let me explain what happens in a halving. The first halving happened in November 2011. Halving is when the total amount of Bitcoins that there is floating around in the blockchain gets halved. Because it's a deflationary currency, so every couple of years, the amount of already finite Bitcoins becomes even less, halves. So the first halving, as I said, was November 2011. The second one was July 2016, and the third one was the one that happened yesterday, the 11th of May. Sorry, I just had to check that it was the 11th of May. So now, knowing that this halving just happened, what can you and I do about that? Well, logically thinking, if you're a person who understands the basics of economics, you would say, oh my word, the already finite amount of Bitcoins in the blockchain just halved. So that would mean that the supply of the Bitcoin became less, which should make the currency go up. Because it's a deflationary currency, the value should go up. So let's go buy. And in theory, that is correct, because if you understand the basics of supply and demand, which is literally the basic principle of economics, then you would understand that most likely the value would go up. Why? Because there is already a solid demand for Bitcoin, and because the supply just lessened, the price is most probably, in most general cases, if there's a high demand for something and little supply, the price goes up. Where the opposite is also true, like we saw 2 weeks ago what happened to oil, which has actually been happening to oil for the last 3-4 months. The prices have been going down and down and down and down because there's so much supply and just not enough demand, especially with the coronavirus. So yes, it is true. You would think you and I should right now jump off this video and go buy some Bitcoin. But wait before you do that. Let's just stop for a second because I'm going to explain what I mean. In 2011, the first halving happened, right? The price went from $11 to $1,000 throughout the duration of the following year up until 2013, where it crashed back to and stayed between the levels of $220 per coin to $240 per coin. And then in 2016, when the second halving came, the Bitcoin was around 500 and actually stayed at that level up until late 2017, where it skyrocketed and literally managed to touch $2,000 a Bitcoin until it fell back, and then almost instantaneously it fell till about $12,000 within like a couple hours, and then it just kept on falling until about $3,000, then stayed between $3,000 to $9,000 range. So based on the last two halvings, it would make sense that this time it is going to go up. And to be honest, I do think it is going to go up. But what I would say is, instead of going right now off this video, going to Binance or any crypto exchange that you know to buy Bitcoin, what I would do is think to yourself, because we are in a tough time now with coronavirus, many people are unemployed, maybe you watching this being yourself unemployed, or maybe just your job has been paused and you don't have as much income as you would and things are a bit tight. What I would do is think about how much money you can afford to lose. So imagine today or tonight, whatever was a night that you would go out with the boys to the casino, and whatever money you would feel comfortable, hopefully being a rational, logical thinking person, knowing that you're probably going to lose all that money at the casino. What I would then do is take the amount you would think you would spend at a casino and buy Bitcoin. So treat Bitcoin as a gamble. Why am I saying that? Despite all the economics and principles and the white paper of Bitcoin and the history of currency all backing up the fact that Bitcoin is probably going to rise in value. Why am I saying that? Because Bitcoin is still a very new idea. The whole blockchain concept is a very new idea. So it is a very volatile situation. It isn't 100% proven that it's going to go up, but with all that being said, the chances of going up it's a good probability. So yes, I think if you do want to take that chance, go ahead. Just make sure it's money you can afford to lose. Otherwise, I don't want to be the one that everyone's going to come contact when everyone decided to put all their millions in savings in Bitcoin and then lost it all. So that's what I'm saying. Put what you can afford to lose and the money you won't miss if shit goes through the roof. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Bitcoin and its halving. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you found some benefits, some good information, some quality information in it. If you guys have opinions, let me know what you guys think. Please, actually do let me know what you guys think down below in Bitcoin. Are you guys going to go buy some? Aren't you guys going to go buy some? What do you guys think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? Do you guys think it's the future? Whatever your opinions on Bitcoin, comment down below. I would love to read them and I'd love to respond to them based on my thinking and my reasoning. So yeah, once again, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give this video a like and subscribe. If you guys need any more information or have any questions or want future videos, you can also comment that down below, or you can find me on my social medias where I am very active down below. They'll be in the links in the description. You can get a hold of me there. 9 times out of 10, I will respond to you and answer accordingly. Yeah, so without further ado, carry on hustling, go out there, well in this case, because of stupid coronavirus, stay in here, make a dent in the universe, keep hustling hard, keep working, keep chasing your dreams, keep pushing yourselves and putting yourselves in uncomfortable positions,